Last night, when we were all collectively experiencing our usual edition of The World is Burning, which has now replaced our Sunday scares, two separate gruesome attacks against Muslims took place. One in the US.
A 17-year-old Muslim girl was killed in what police are saying is a possible hate crime while she walked home from a mosque in Virginia.
And the other in the UK.
The assailant using a van to target Muslims leaving a mosque. At least one person dying, 10 injured this morning. London's mayor now calling it a, quote, deliberate attack.
And you might have missed that if you were following just the mainstream media outlets last night, because of our apologists, supposedly left-leaning, supposedly fake news mainstream media outlets covered the issue like this.
Why do you do that? Why?
Man dies as van hits pedestrians? An incident? The BBC is out here carrying water for the white supremacist movement as if it's nothing more than a minor traffic accident. That's like saying 9/11 was a simple technical flight failure or because the pilot was drunk. But perhaps the worst instance of coverage should be awarded to the Daily Mail, because they had this clever message to promote their coverage. Oh, clean shaven? Moving on, I guess. Nothing to see here. And then the Daily Mail followed that tweet with a title that almost made it seem like the mosque deserved to be attacked, as they mentioned hate cleric Abu Hamza once preached at that mosque. Did that context have to be included? What was the goal there? Why didn't you mention that this was also the same mosque that won an award for combating extremism later on? The clean shaven thing really got to me, because we have this way of humanizing white people who commit gruesome acts of terror, like that time the New York Post referred to a saber-wielding white supremacist as well-dressed as he was coming off the thrills of recent race-related murder he had committed. Or when we constantly refer to openly racist white supremacists like Richard Spencer as dapper, when it's literally a part of their marketing ploy. And aside from the unbalanced, borderline inappropriate media coverage, this violent reaction against Muslims isn't new, it's expected. I've extensively talked about the very real outcomes of blaming an entire religion for terrorist acts perpetrated by an extremist violent asshole or extremist violent asshole groups who bastardize the interpretation of a religion to recruit kids at the brink of radicalization. This isn't surprising. Look, this is how a lot of outlets portray Islam.
Islam is a religion of peace. Do you buy that?
Yeah, they blow you up. There's a PC over there, there's a PC over there, there's a PC over there.
And that's not a Republican commentator, that's fucking Bill Maher. Side note, can we just stop glorifying old dickheads like Bill Maher who condescend everyone on the left who don't agree with his bigoted line of reasoning? He's not a bastion of liberal commentary, okay? He's a fucking racist. And of course, when you even have dudes on the tolerant left fear-mongering, fearful maniacs are gonna respond to this narrative and react. When you have a prominent British leader going on national television and casually floating the idea of internment camps, for example.
We want genuine action. And if there is not action, then the calls for internment will grow.
Or when in the UK you have people literally calling out for armed militias.
Inaction will only facilitate the creation of a disgruntled and angry population who will end up cleaning out this Islamic problem.
Speaking of action and inaction, where's Donald Trump and his Twitter fingers when the victims of terror are Muslim? When an identical attack happened only weeks ago, he had a range of responses, from blaming all of Islam to promoting his unconstitutional Muslim ban to even attacking the Muslim mayor of London. Also on the list of other actions Trump claimed would help end terror, he blamed Obama for being too PC and that we needed to solve the terrorism problem by using the words radical Islamic terror, which he has repeated like some orange Beetlejuice.
Radical Islamic terrorism. Radical Islamic terrorism. Radical Islamic terrorism.
I think terrorism still very much exists. And not just in the Western world. Attacks have gotten more gruesome, particularly in Afghanistan and even Iran, where the targets are Muslims. It is weird that the resentment created by decades of destabilization under the guise of enlightened foreign policy and promoting democracy, crippling their infrastructure through warfare and routinely bombing the fuck out of these countries couldn't be undone by then alienating the people who escaped those conditions to seek a better life in Western countries. I wonder why. And then on the other side of the pond, you have the murder of a 17-year-old Muslim girl walking with her friends after eating at IHOP, which, by the way, is probably one of the most American things any teenager can do. But she was brutally beaten to death by a psychopath for the mistake of being Muslim and for practicing a religion that media outlets freely claim is violent to its very core. When it comes to covering terror against brown people, the media tends to whitewash. But I guess that's also reminiscent of Trump's Twitter hot take machine that only gets fired up whenever it fits his anti-Muslim agenda. What both of these parties emit are almost as important as what they say, and unfortunately, they both tend to perpetuate hatred against Muslims. It's divisive. And that's exactly what ISIS wants, as they seek to create chaos in our communities. I'm Hassan Piker. Please share this video if you think the media coverage of Muslims and terror is only exacerbating the problem. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Hassan D. Piker and on Twitter at Hassan the Hun. And this has been The Breakdown.